so today we're going to be making coffee rubbed pork chops, and this is a recipe I got. I've modified it slightly, but I'm going to mix all the rub ingredients together, put them on the pork chops, and then after that we'll take it out to the grill and show you guys how it's done. So what we have here is we got 1 tablespoon of coffee grounds, 2 tablespoons of salt, 1.5 tablespoons granulated garlic, 1 tablespoon paprika, whoa, getting a little crazy, and 1.5 tablespoons of lemon pepper. So we're gonna put all that in here, give that a mix, just enough to where everything's mixed together. You don't want any like big chunks of salt. Nobody wants a big bite of salt, trust me. And so once this is all a nice mix, everything's like an even color so you can really tell that everything's mixed together good, then what we're gonna do is just sprinkle it on top of the pork chops. I mean, you don't really have to rub it in because then it tends to get kind of messy, but as long as it's coated on there well. So give this a stir, and now what I like to do is I usually put some on the spoon and just kind of sprinkle it on top. That way you have more control as to where if you just kind of stick your hand in there, then it gets messy and then it's all over your hands. And you definitely want to make sure your hands are washed before, obviously, and after, because of all the ingredients on the rub and on the pork. Now you can put as much or as little rub on here as you want. I mean, obviously, if you want a stronger flavor, you can alter the recipe or alter the amount of rub that you have on it. And then what I do is I usually just pat it on there, push it around, kind of make sure so it's even all over the pork chop. And then what we'll do is we'll flip it over and then do the other side. Now when you set your grill, set it to like a medium heat, like 350 is good, and then you'll know your pork's done when it's at 165 internal temperature. So I brought out my meat thermometer, my tongs, and we're ready to go. So we're gonna get these put on here. So we're gonna get these grilling, and then about halfway through, maybe like 10 minutes, 8 to 10 minutes, we're gonna come out here, check on them, and then flip them. And then after we do that, we'll get ready to baste. I'll show you the basting recipe. It gets a little crazy, so I hope you're prepared. And then we'll go from there. All right, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna make the basting liquid that we're actually gonna baste the pork chops with. And I told you it got a little crazy, but it's actually fun, and it really accents the flavor of the pork chops, gives them kind of a smoky kick. So what we're gonna do is add the barbecue sauce. So we got our barbecue sauce going. Perfect. I mean, yeah, that's a fair amount. Make as much or as little as you need. Coffee, that's the secret, but don't tell your friends. So just put, it says about 1 tablespoon. I mean, it all depends on how much barbecue sauce you have, and there's all sorts of variables. You just want to put enough coffee in to give it a little bit of kick. So now once you get this mixed in and mixed together, you take this out, and when the pork chops have 5 minutes left, we're gonna baste on one side, let it sit for 2 minutes, flip, baste on the other side, let it sit for another 2 minutes, then pull your pork chops off and enjoy. All right, so it's been about 8 to 10 minutes. Our pork chops have been cooking on one side. So what we're gonna do now is take a look at them and flip them over, then we'll let them cook for another 10 minutes on the other side, and then we'll get to basting, the exciting part. Now, if you notice that they're cooking unevenly or one part is cooking more than another part, you can always feel free to move your pork chops around on the grill, like if your grill has a hot spot or a cold spot where the heat really differentiates. But for the most part, we're just trying to make sure they cook evenly on both sides. That way our centers are cooked and we don't end up with burnt pork chops on one side or the other. All right, so it's been our other 10 minutes. Our pork chops have cooked on the other side. I checked them to make sure they're over 165. I mean, 165 is the ideal temperature, but to err on the side of caution, a little bit over is fine. So now we've made our basting liquid. Now what we're gonna do is baste this side. We're gonna let it sit for about 2 minutes, baste the other side, 2 more minutes, and then we'll pull them off and enjoy. So what I do is put it on the basting brush, and then, I mean, you don't wanna waste it, but this is providing your moisture. So a little on the heavy side isn't gonna hurt anything, and once this soaks in, you'll really have some good flavor on the inside of the pork chops. So that way it stays moist all the way through and it gives you your sauce. If you want to add some more when they're done, feel free. Make it as saucy as you like. But we're gonna baste this side, let them sit, and then we will baste the other side. We're just gonna flip these over, baste the other side, a minute or two since they're already cooked all the way through, just to heat them up and let it soak in, and then we can enjoy my favorite part. Get all these flipped. The barbecue sauce on the top has had time to like settle and sort of sink in, and now when we flip these over, it's gonna develop a really good crust from that barbecue sauce cooking right on the face of the grill. It's gonna give it a great crust. And then after we baste this side and let them sit, we can enjoy. All right, so we're done cooking. They've sat for their last 2 minutes, so we're gonna pull these bad boys off and get to eating because I'm hungry. Oh, look at that. That's the good stuff right there. Oh, yes. There we go. Look at those.